Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This message did not come to you by chance. It is no mere coincidence that you are here at this precise moment with these words resonating in your heart. You are here because Allah has permitted it. Tonight, an invisible light has guided you here. A light that many ignore, but that awakened hearts feel. Have you felt this restlessness within you? This need to isolate yourself, to seek meaning, to understand what your soul wants to tell you? It's not confusion, it's a divine call. A silent voice that does not pass through the ears, but enters directly into the heart. It is Allah who speaks to those He loves. And today, this message is for you. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe. Feel the calm entering your being. Forget the noises of the world. Forget what has hurt you. What you are about to hear can transform what you experience. There are times when Allah chooses a moment to change a life, just as He chose the cave to reveal to Muhammad, just as He chose the sea to save Moses alayhi salam. And that moment, this might be the one for you. You are not here out of mere curiosity. You have been guided. Allah never calls a servant without a purpose. And if He has brought you here, it is because your heart is ready. Perhaps you have felt lost lately. Perhaps you have carried pains that no one saw. Perhaps you have prayed in tears without knowing if anyone heard you. Today, Allah answers you. Yes, you. Even if you feel weak. Even if you think you're not up to it. Even if you've fallen 100 times. He saw you get back up. He saw your effort. And He chose you. Tonight, you're not just a spectator. You're an elected official. You are among those whom Allah has distinguished, not by wealth or appearance, but by the sincerity of their hearts. And to them, He sends signs, messages that awaken, that upset, that elevate. Do you think you got here with just a click? No, it was written. Because Allah does not leave His chosen ones in darkness. He enlightens them, sometimes with a simple word, sometimes with a video, sometimes with a verse that pierces the heart like a piercing light. So listen. Listen with your soul, not with your ears. Don't skip this moment. Don't treat this message like any other. Because this one could be the one you've been waiting for a long time, the one your heart needed to hear to regain its strength, the one who will open a new page in your story. Grant your heart the right to listen. Give your soul the silence it has been asking for months. Allah wants to speak to you, and perhaps through this message, He will tell you what no one else has been able to say. Get ready. The message starts now. You may be wondering why you? Why was it you who had to carry so much? Why was it your heart that knew so many silences, so many departures, so many abandonments? You were never forgotten. It wasn't a punishment. It wasn't a mistake. It was a divine choice. When Allah loves a servant, He refines him. He prepares him. He surrounds him with trials. Not to break him, but to remove from him that which is no longer necessary. Like gold that is refined in the fire, Allah places His chosen ones in the furnace of trial, not to make them suffer, but to make them shine. And you know what I'm talking about. You've known nights when the pillow no longer held your head, but your tears. You've seen doors close when you had placed all your hopes in them. You've looked at the sky, sometimes without words, just with a tired heart. What you didn't know is that with every sigh, Allah was watching you. Allah was listening to you. Allah was training you. Look at the prophets. Not one was spared. Noah was rejected by his people. Ibrahim was thrown into the fire. Musa fled alone into the desert. Yusuf was abandoned in a well and then thrown into prison. Muhammad, our beloved, lost his loved ones, was driven from his land, insulted, injured. And yet, they were all chosen, all loved, all bearers of light. And today, you are part of this same lineage. The trial wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to separate the false from the true. Allah separated you from certain people. He kept you away from certain situations because He knew what you couldn't see. He saved you, even when you thought you were lost. Did you think this was the end? It was the beginning of another you. When Allah wants to elevate someone, He begins by emptying them of their attachments, their illusions, their dependencies. Because He wants to fill that heart only with His light. He does not want your heart to be inhabited by what is ephemeral. He wants you to feel what few feel, the peace of being chosen. And this sorting that made you lose so many things, so many people, this sorting was divine. Allah never takes something away without reason. He never closes a door without having already prepared another. But He wants to know, will you still trust Him? Will you continue to walk, even with eyes full of tears, but with a heart full of faith? You did not suffer for nothing. You were not forgotten. You were selected, sorted, formed. Because the chosen ones are not known by what they have, but by what they endure. And despite everything you've been through, you're still standing. And that alone is a huge sign. You are one of those whom Allah has chosen to carry something great, something that few can carry. You have passed through the flames to be able to transmit the light, and today Allah reminds you of this, what you have experienced. This is proof that you are ready. You may be wondering what all this means. Why so much silence? Why so much waiting? Why this persistent feeling that something important is approaching without ever fully revealing itself? You haven't been dreaming. What you feel is real. And if your heart senses this imminence, it's because Allah is preparing you to receive what you are now able to carry. There is a season when Allah teaches, another when He tests, and then comes a season when He grants. You have reached the threshold of this last one. You feel it, but you dare not believe it, do you? Because past wounds have told you not to hope too strongly, not to believe too quickly, not to open yourself up without caution. But Allah says to you today, the wait is over, you're ready. Remember those days when you prayed with trembling hands, when you supplicated in the dark, when you whispered supplications that only you understood. Not one of those words went to waste. Not one of those sighs was wasted. Allah preserved them all. He enveloped them in His mercy. He placed them in a moment, and that moment, it is here. But here it is. Before He offers you what He has kept for you, He wants to anchor you in consciousness. He does not want you to receive without understanding. He does not want you to walk without knowing why. That is why He speaks to you today. So that you understand that everything has been orchestrated, that nothing has been done at random, that every step, every silence, every detour were part of the plan. Allah does not give great responsibilities to those who have not experienced great pain. He does not entrust His light to those who would take it lightly. He chooses broken hearts to rebuild new strength. He chooses those whom the world has not seen, but whom He has gazed at long and secretly. And this heart that you carry, this tired but still living heart, is worthy to bear what few can bear. That's why you feel different. That's why you no longer adapt to empty talk. That's why you feel the need to distance yourself from the noise, to return to yourself, to seek Allah in silence. For you have been transformed. You are no longer who you were yesterday. You no longer walk with the same desires, the same expectations. You no longer live to please men, but to answer the call of Allah. So listen carefully. You are in a new phase. What you left behind was no longer meant for you. What awaits you ahead has been prepared for a long time. It is not a sudden elevation, it is the continuation of an invisible process. You have been planted in solitude, watered by tears, exposed to the winds of doubt, and now you are blooming. But to welcome what is coming, you must acknowledge it. You must accept this label that you have long refused. You are a chosen one. Not perfect, not without error, but sincere, persevering, and faithful despite the storms. And Allah, He does not look at your past. He looks at your heart now. And what He sees there satisfies Him. Now that you are beginning to glimpse what you are experiencing, it is time to ask yourself an essential question. Are you ready to welcome what Allah wants to entrust to you? It is no longer a question of surviving. It is no longer a question of begging for a little peace between two storms. It is now a question of receiving and of carrying what few dare to carry. Because there is a moment in the life of a chosen one when the phase of silent construction ends and the moment of deposit begins. The mission deposit. You feel something calling you, but you can't explain it. You feel your soul wanting to rise, but you don't know how yet. And that's where it all really begins. Because when Allah wants to take someone from a simple existence to a life aligned with His will, He begins by speaking to them through signs. And when the heart is ready to hear, He places a new weight on the soul, the weight of spiritual responsibility. What you feel deep inside, this intensity, this need for meaning, this desire to detach yourself from the world to understand what you must do. It is not a feeling of unease, it is a calling, a sacred calling that only the chosen hearts can perceive. Allah has removed you from the tumult to teach you to listen. He has removed you from distractions so that you can hear His voice in silence. And now, He wants to speak to you through what He places within you. A message, a mission, a direction. But be aware of this. Being chosen does not mean being comfortable. It is not receiving comfort, it is carrying the truth. And this truth, you will sometimes have to carry it alone. The world may judge you, reject you, call you a dreamer or an extremist. But if Allah has chosen you, it is because He saw you able to endure this with patience. It's not a decorative privilege. It's a noble burden, a demanding light. Because Allah doesn't want you to be content with just being well. He wants you to be a light for others. He wants your experience to serve to heal those who no longer find their way. He wants your story to speak louder than words. He wants your silence to carry a wisdom that even speeches cannot match. Did you think your isolation was a punishment? It was a spiritual retreat. Did you think your fatigue was abandonment? It was preparation for inner change. You were separated from the crowds so that you would understand that your place is not in the ordinary. You are one of those whom Allah raises without fanfare, without noise, but with heavenly constancy. And now comes the decisive moment. Will you say yes to what your soul already recognizes as true? Will you accept this responsibility that your heart feels as urgent? It's not about becoming famous. It's not about proving anything. It's simply about answer the call. As Musa responded at the burning bush, as Muhammad responded in the cave of Hira, all it takes is a sincere yes, an open heart, and a will that aligns. And everything that seemed confusing becomes clear. All blocked paths become fluid. All fears become strength. Because Allah never gives a mission without giving the strength to accomplish it. And you've reached that moment. The moment when you can no longer run away from what you feel. The moment when the truth knocks at the door of your soul. The moment when the call becomes too strong to ignore. You are ready. And what you do now will determine everything that comes next. You may still be asking yourself, but why me? Why would Allah look at you, you who have stumbled, you who have doubted, you who are not perfect? Because He saw you in the moments no one saw. He saw you in the prostrations when you had no words, only tears. He saw you in the nights when you prayed silently so as not to wake those who were sleeping. He saw you fight your desires, resist what attracted you, turn away from the haram even when no one was looking. And what men never knew about you, Allah made into a proof of love, a proof of eligibility. The world rewards appearances, but Allah chooses according to what is within. He searches hearts, He weighs intentions. And when He finds in you a spark of sincerity, a seed of loyalty, He is content to elevate you. He doesn't ask you to be a saint, He asks you to be true, to return, to hold on. And you did. Even though you fell, you returned. Even though you were lost, you sought the light. Even though you doubted, you eventually rose again. And it is this inner fidelity, this stubbornness not to abandon the faith, that has distinguished you. But what you are experiencing now is even greater. It is no longer just a preparation, it is a transformation. Allah is remaking your identity. He is recoding your soul. You no longer look as you used to. You no longer react as you used to. You no longer live as you used to. What you once tolerated now bothers you. What attracted you leaves you cold, because your heart has changed altitude. It no longer lives at the level of matter. It yearns for what is invisible but real, the divine presence. And this is the beginning of a higher calling. For when Allah wants to make a heart a refuge for His light, He begins by tearing it away from the world. He tears it away from its old attachments. He cuts it from its old chains. Sometimes this hurts, but it is a mercy in disguise. For Allah knows that you cannot carry the trust He has intended for you with your hands still tied. He frees you before raising you up. He purifies you before sending you forth. And now that you are stripped of what was not you, you are finally ready to receive what is yours. You have entered that phase where your peace no longer depends on external circumstances. You have understood that true happiness is not what you possess, but what you become. It is not where you live, but the state of your heart. And today, Allah calls you to remain in this state of consciousness. He does not want you to fall back. He wants you to move forward, even gently. Because every step in that direction is a victory. Every morning you wake up saying, "Ya Allah, guide me," is a conquest. Every prayer you offer with concentration is a light that adds to your path. Don't let regrets rob you of this sacred phase. Don't let the guilt of your past prevent you from receiving the promises of your future. Allah didn't choose you because of your history, but because of your future. He looked at you with the eyes of His eternal knowledge. He saw what you can become, even if you don't see it yet. He saw you on a mission. He saw you at peace. He saw you guiding other souls through your own light. And this is what He wants to bring forth now. But for this promise to become a reality, you must continue to say yes, not out loud, but in your actions, in your steadfastness, in your detachment from the futile, in your fidelity to the unseen. Every time you choose Allah when the world offers you something else, you are saying yes. Every time you cling to prayer when your soul is weary, you are still saying yes. And Allah listens to these silent yeses. He writes them in your book. He amplifies them until they become your deliverance. And soon, you will see. Not because a spectacular miracle will fall from the sky, but because your vision will sharpen. You will see coherence where there was only chaos. You will see meaning where there was only confusion. You will see fruit where there were only buried seeds. Because Allah has never forgotten you. He was simply waiting for you to be ready. And now you are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, my brothers and sisters. What you have just heard is not a simple reminder. It is not a coincidence. It is a meeting with your soul. A suspended moment that your heart recognizes, even if it does not yet understand everything. This message has found you at the perfect moment, for Allah never makes mistakes. If you have stayed this far, it is because something within you knows. Something within you senses that this voice, these words, are not the words of man, but reminders that Allah places to awaken His chosen ones. You don't need to master everything. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to surrender to Him once again. He chose you, and He's waiting for you. Every day, He calls you to more light, more closeness, more trust. So don't run away anymore. Don't hide behind your wounds. Don't judge yourself by your past. For what you carry within you is greater than anything you've ever experienced. Tonight, be silent. Turn off the world and speak to Allah. Like a confidant, like a friend. Like a Lord who has always loved you, even when you couldn't see Him. He's there, and He has seen you. He has called you with this message. Now it is up to you to respond. May the peace of Allah be with you until the end, and may your heart belong to Him forever.